All right, everybody, welcome back to Minnesota Well Done. We're back in studio. Seth has some family stuff that he's taking care of right now, and he's down in Florida. We're planning some Zoom episodes with him, but right now I have the wonderful Chef Christina with me, and she has decided to do an episode, or maybe two, with me.
Maybe.
Yeah, we'll see how this one goes. Yeah. I know, so you used to be my boss.
Yes.
And we're gonna get into that a little bit more later.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, but so we're just gonna decide if she's gonna be too mean to me, or if she's gonna be, she's gonna hate the way that I cut things, or my knife isn't sharp enough. We'll see. We'll see where the judgment comes from. Yeah, no, but we're gonna get into you. So you were my chef de cuisine. Mm-hmm. At the Lexington, but we worked together.
Yeah,
before that at the Craftsman.
Yeah, when I didn't speak any English. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
We worked probably 1 or 2 weeks together.
Yeah, it wasn't a long time.
Yeah,
it wasn't a long time. When I was working at the Craftsman, for one, I had lots of. I don't know. I wouldn't call them mental problems, but I was like just getting sober, so like every day was a living hell for me.
I remember.
But I mean, we made it work, right?
Yes, of course.
And that's where I met Mike Ewan, and
my little angel.
Yeah, and definitely that was where this part of my career kind of sprouted from. So it wasn't bad by any means. But what happened at the Craftsman for people at home is basically they
sold it.
Yeah, they sold it, and they were going to keep the name, and they were going to have it be basically TGI Fridays and do steak tips and like double baked potatoes and. Man.
I remember I put my notice just when I started to see the owners coming. They never went in the restaurant before.
Yeah.
And they just started to come over and, show the place to a lot of people. And I told Mike, like, man, I think they are selling this place. So I'm going to put my notice because I know always when the restaurants are sold, when they hire new chefs, they change the entire staff.
Yeah.
So I just want to be like ahead of that, and I put my notice when I started to notice that.
Well, there was a mass exodus. I mean, I don't think you were the only person who was thinking that. It was just like everybody's like, we need to get out of here, man.
Yeah.
We need to get out of here. So you and Mike went directly to the Lexington from that?
No. After I worked at Craftsman, it was my first winter in United States, so I went to Florida to spend, after probably 15 years without seeing my family, I went to Florida for about 3 weeks, and when I came back, I started to work with Jonathan Hunt at Alvento.
Oh,
in
yeah,
South
that's
Minneapolis.
right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. How did that go?
Well, it was good. I learned a lot from him. I mean, my stepdad is from Milan, so I have like a lot of background of traditional Italian food. So, I mean, in that place, I can say was completely traditional. Everything was made at the restaurant, and Jonathan is really passionate about his food. So I enjoy it. I really enjoy it. But I just want something more,
Yeah.
And
when you say you want something more, you want something more. You want to have more for yourself, or you wanted to go beyond just the Italian cooking.
Yeah, I want to go. I always wanted to go when I'm not like in my comfort zone.
Yeah.
So I really want to go to a restaurant I don't know anything about. So for me, American food was that kind of thing. Because in Venezuela, we have a lot of influence from Italians, Portuguese people, Mediterranean cuisine, and yeah, I know. We can talk about that too.
Yasu, Ticanis.
But American food, we have just like, like fast food American in Venezuela. But I just want to cook something I never cooked before.
Yeah.
So I started to apply to this kind of a steak house. Because in my country, the steakhouse we call carne en vara, and we do it like always outside, like with rocks and that kind of things, Like we never use wood to cook steaks, we always use charcoal wood. It's too expensive to use it.
Yeah.
So I saw this new restaurant, you know, like a staple restaurant in St. Paul, and I never worked in St. Paul before, so I decided to apply. And I remember the chef de cuisine, the first one they have was Troy. I don't remember his last name.
Okay.
So he called me and he set up a stash for me. I was like, stash? What is that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, of course, we use another word for that in Spanish. But I went, and the person who opened the door for me, the back door, was Mike Ewan. And I just saw him and I was like, what is this? Are you in, like, what are you doing here? And he just started to laugh. Hello. And he told me, your stash is with me. I was like, what? I can't believe it. So yeah, from that day on, I work at the Lexington with him, and I went to be the only girl in the kitchen for about 2.5 years. And I started to work in Garmager.
Yeah.
And after that, I went to lead in Garmager, because Garmager was the biggest station at the Lexington, and I can say one of the hardest one.
Oh yeah.
And then I was the lead of that, and then I was executive sous chef, and then I end of the chef de cuisine for almost 2 years. Yes.
Yeah, and that's and then enter me. You got a big ball of crazy walking in.
We have the complete staff of the Craftsman over there.
Oh yeah, we did.
On the front, on the back.
Yep.
It was great to work with people knows me from, you know, the beginning when I didn't speak any English, and you guys helped me a lot when I came here, and it was super, super nice to work with people, you know, you have that kind of connection.
Yeah. Well, we love you. And
I love you too.
Yeah, and it was great to work with you and for you, and of course we're gonna help you with the language thing. A lot of people now with the show, I'm starting to like get this kind of out there. But my first job was I had that experience, but in the opposite direction. So I worked just up the road at La Taqueria de los Ocampos.
Yeah.
And I played soccer with all Latin Americans.
Yeah.
Right? And many of them did not speak English. And, you know, so you think as like, you know, I was a young kid, right? I shouldn't have been working there. We'll work on the... Well, yeah, we'll edit that out in post, Armando. It's okay.
We do that
everything was on the up and up, I promise. No. So, it was an incredibly difficult experience for me to do anything there, because I would have to find the person who spoke English.
Yep.
Or spoke enough English so that we could I could be like, so, you know, at that time I was like, donde, you know, beans.
What I remember, the first time, you know, I started to take notes of all the recipes, and Mike walked with me probably almost every day, and I was like, what is this? And he was like pointing everything. So I have a little book when I have the word in Spanish.
Yeah.
And thank Mike, he started to tell me all the words in English. So I have like a, you know, like a book just with all the stuff in kitchen.
Yeah.
Because one thing is learn to speak English, just to try to, you know, get some from this place to another place. And another thing is talk about techniques, and, you know, like a more like a specific English for the kitchen. So that part was interesting.
Yeah.
But he helped me a lot. You guys helped me a lot. And of course I always forced me to be with Americans. My roommates they don't speak Spanish at all.
Yeah.
So my ex-boyfriend too, we've been together for more than 2 years, and he was from here. So that helped me a lot to, you know, like,
just
learn English,
immerse yourself in it. Yeah.
And I did it. I'm so sorry, guys, if you hear, you know, weird things coming from my mouth, but
no, get over it. All right.
But
this is a variety podcast.
But yeah, I still making a lot of mistakes, but we'll see. You know. No,
your English is great. Your English is great.
Kristen.
No, it's impressive how well it has improved, and yeah, I think let's just leave it at impressive, because like I said, I mean, I started speaking Spanish when I was probably, you know, 12, 13.
But you speak Spanish like perfect. Your accent, I mean, you need vocabulary because
Yeah.
you never speak Spanish. It's not
Yeah.
the same. But your pronunciation and everything is perfect. Of course, it comes from Greek.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
know.
you can, yeah, you
Yeah,
can.
yeah.
Yeah.
No. And you know, the thing is with the Greek language too, I think is I started to meet people as I grew up that were like, you know, friends of my family or you know, just adjacent to my family, right? And Greece is a place of islands. So everybody speaks differently,
Yeah.
and you have to constantly be changing like the inflection of your tone to match with the people that you're with.
Okay.
Some people, you know what I mean? Some people call me on it sometimes because my accent will change, especially if I'm like around old buddies from, you know, back in the day.
Okay.
Or if like right now in school, I have this group of an Indian kid and a Middle Eastern guy. He's from Palestine. His name's Faris. And me. And I just notice the way that I talk, I try to, like, subconsciously, I try to kind of like get on that inflection and in that rhythm. And I think that comes from that you know, kind of island, like, let's match up, let's sync up. I want to speak your language, right? Even if I can't speak your language.
And also, like, a lot of people tells me that, like, my tone when I speak Spanish, it's completely different when I speak English. Like, when I speak Spanish, I'm like, my tone is so, like, sometimes it's just like, my God, that is my voice. That is horrible. But, yeah.
No, it's not like that at all.
In English, my tone can be sweeter. I mean, I'm sweeter when I speak English.
Yeah.
But when I speak Spanish, I don't sound that sweet. But it is what it is. I cannot change it.
Well, no, I think you know, at least on the line, it's like if we heard you speaking Spanish, there was a problem usually.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the thing. Is
No,
like,
probably,
you know,
yeah.
it's like, no, I'm not being an asshole. You just fucked up. So why don't you fix that, and then my tone will improve. How about that?
Exactly. Yes, chef. Heard. Yeah.
Heard, chef. Yep. No, that. No, I remember one day. So for people who don't know, in galley style kitchens like the Lexington, you have people working kind of like, you know, you have like 3 lines, and there's all these people working on different things, and they have to sync up their time. So there's lots of ticket calls.
Yes.
Right. And I am definitely one to get on the ticket calls. Right. I understand the importance of the ticket calls. Okay. So you could see, you know, me, bright light of the kitchen. I started to call the tickets, right? But I was not the sous chef and or the chef de cuisine, and I
said, Chris.
I don't even remember what you said. I remember that tone, and I remember that it was in Spanish because you weren't. Because here's the thing. You've never been the person who wants to embarrass someone in front of the other line. You knew that I spoke Spanish, and you basically told me, I call the fucking tickets. That's basically what you said. That's what I remember.
Yep. Probably that was me.
I was like, oui, chef. Yeah, you know, just threw another language in there just to kind of like mess with the flow a little bit.
Yeah.
No, so I mean, I think that's probably where the tone thing is getting to. I mean, because it's the same with the Greeks. You go over and it's like I talk with Alki, and Alki's is this. Honestly, one of the sweetest men that I've ever met in my whole life. And in English, he's just, you know, his tone is so soft, and he really is a very, very nice human being. But whenever he gets angry, he speaks in Greek. So I only know what his tone sounds like in Greek. All right, so we've talked the language thing. Okay? We've talked the language.
We're good.
But I want to get into you.
Yep.
Okay? Because we're talking about, you have some new things on the horizon.
Yes.
Right?
I do.
And I want you to explain just a little bit, because I get the concept, but I think that some people are not aware of your country's cooking and like how it works and like what aspect of it you're going to be really accentuating and cooking.
Yep. So I have a new project. The name is Arepa Bar. Arepa, it's kind of it's like our bread. It's made with white corn, and we used to put whatever we want inside of that. So the name of my restaurant is Arepa Bar. Like I said, we're going to be located. Thank God, after 4 weeks today, I received the call. We're going to be located in Midtown Global Market.
You heard it here first.
Yep. Yeah, so this is like a fresh from the oven today. So yeah, we're going to be located there. I have a meeting tomorrow, really important for setup tasting to see what is the date of my opening because I don't know yet. But I promise I'm going to do everything is in my hands to open this year. I have my staff ready. I have everything ready. Believe it or not, all my staff is coming from the Lexington, of course.
There you go.
My little babies again. I'm not that bad, so the people wants to work for me again.
Yeah,
see?
no, I get it. Yeah. No.
So, yeah,
You know,
it's going to be.
I never got the offer, but that's cool.
Oh, you are in school. Don't do that to me. My God, you're doing this on purpose. No, don't. So, after I left the Lexington, I was really thinking like what I want to cook again, what I want to do with my life, because I had a restaurant in my country before I come here. I lost it because of political problems in Venezuela. That is another story. I'm not prepared for that.
Yeah.
So I said, why I'm not tried again? Like, why I not open my own thing here?
Yeah.
And I start to look it up like, well, maybe a tapas restaurant because we didn't have a tapas restaurant here. Maybe, I was trying to figure out what can makes me really happy. And nothing can makes me more happy than come back to my roots.
Yeah.
So my restaurant is going to be a traditional Venezuelan cuisine. I think we need it. We need it, my soul needed, and also we have around 2.6K of Venezuelans in Minnesota. They don't know, they cannot go anywhere.
Right.
We have just one Venezuelan restaurant here, Arepas is the name, but it's more like a fast food. And I know we have a food truck too. I don't remember right now the name, but I just want to do something completely traditional.
Yeah.
First, because I think Minnesotans, they don't know anything about Venezuelan food. And the way that people sometimes present Venezuelan food, it's not the way I want to present it, the way I want to cook it. I want to be, I can say, the first one to present this to Minnesotans like in a really professional way.
Yeah.
Okay, my background, it's a lot of French cuisine, Italian cuisine, fine dining cuisine. So the idea of my restaurant, it's maybe just elevate a little bit more the Venezuelan traditions. Of course, with the same flavors. I'm not talking about I'm going to change the pabellon, guys. I'm not going to do it Venezuelan, guys. No, because they can kill me. But I just want to do it right.
Yeah.
And I think I have the knowledge and the experience to put the incredible dishes from my country and show the world. Venezuela is not just what it's happening for the last 20 years. We have something else to show the world, and we are good people, and we are, good workers, and I'm a workaholic myself, and I love what I do. Yeah. I just think when you are a chef, you want to enjoy things, and you do it because you love what you're doing.
Yeah.
And also I want to offer a place for the people to work like a happy place. I'm professional. The people works for me before. No, I can get really, really mad. But I'm not going to put you down ever. I respect my team. And I always said like the teams need to be like a family.
Yeah.
And to bring this to Minnesota and create this family, I enjoy my roots again and show what we can do. I think it's a really great opportunity. Yes, during COVID, I'm doing it. Yes, I don't care, but I'm going to do it.
That's what everybody said. I was like, did you hear it? Christina's opening her own restaurant. They're like,
are you sure?
COVID?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Well, okay, let's do this. Let's take a quick break.
Perfect.
and then we'll get more in depth into some of the food that you're going to be cooking there.
Yes.
And a little bit more about Venezuelan cooking in general.
Of course.
Sounds good.
Okay, right.
So let's get right back into it. Let's start talking about Venezuelan food and some of the unique things about Venezuelan food, or what people might not realize, and then we'll start talking about what you're actually going to be doing at your place. Because I know. So here's the thing. Depending on the type of hood that you have,
really,
you have to change. You have to change the way that you cook, right?
Yes.
You're only allowed to cook certain types of things depending on the type of hood that you have. And so you started this project kind of thinking that you were going to be just a bakery.
Yeah, I started this project 10 months ago.
Wow.
Yes, a long time ago. And I started in a little place in downtown Minneapolis. So the hood was type 2. So I just tried to think like, okay, I just need to change all my project because I cannot cook whatever I want because I don't have a special hood for that. So no anymore.
Yeah.
Right now, I am going to cook whatever I want because I have a type 1. So that is going to give me more opportunity to cook everything I have in the menu right now. But yes, I remember that day was awesome. You came to my cousin's house to help me to do the bakery.
Yep.
And was awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, we throwed away a lot of dough. A lot of things. I mean, I have like a good hands for baking. But, you know, I never realized, like, in United States, the flours are completely different that we have in Venezuela, right?
Yeah.
So we have, like, a lot of organic things in Venezuela because 20 years ago, we produced everything we had.
Yeah.
So here, it's more like, you know, the flour is not the same because you need to produce more, so I call, he was my chef at the restaurant in Venezuela for around 2 years or 3 years. He's living right now in Canada. And I call him. I was like, Jose, please, I need your help. I'm crying. Like, all these doughs are not working like used to work. Like, why? And he just started to, you know, laugh at me. I was like, okay, just breathe. Remember, humidity, the table, and all these kind of things you need to, you know, control. When you live in a country or in a state like Minnesota, the weather, it's, you know, it's really like, you know, up and down, up and down. So I was like, yeah, of course. So I just started to, you know, like try to see the humidity percentage of that day and stuff. And next day I woke up and I made everything happen. So yeah, you try one of the things that are going to be in the restaurant, golfeados.
Yes.
Golfeados, it's between sweet and spicy. No, because chilies, it's because we use a lot of anise on that. We use a lot of spices from the Mediterranean. So we use a lot of cloves, a lot of anise, a lot of that kind of things to pop up your tongue, you know, so you can...
Yeah, so basically the use of aromatics just opens up your taste buds so that you're able to taste the sweetness more. It's similar to, you know, when I talk to people and try to introduce them to the concept of aromatics and like why you'd use anise.
In Venezuela, that is really traditional, that the aromatics thing, like in everywhere, in every dish, we use a lot, and that is the reason, because I mean your tongue is going just to be crazy about the flavors.
Yeah. So you experience the savory and you experience the sweetness more after that powerful spice opens you up.
Exactly.
I think salted or spicy caramel. Right. Yeah. That's kind of like the most popular I think American version of something that is sweet and spicy that can kind of like turn that light bulb on for people.
Like in chocolate, it's the same. Like I went to chocolate school for around 2 years, and
see, I didn't know this. We need to get into this because my first sous chef was a chocolatier. I'm going to have him on the show. He started his own business in Nebraska now because he left the state for his own personal reasons, and I want to know all you know about chocolate. I had no idea that you were a chocolatier.
Yeah, I am. Unfortunately, I couldn't finish because in Venezuela in that time, we didn't have more milk in the market, or, you know, like all the food started to disappear, so I couldn't finish it. But I learned a lot. And it's a lot of techniques you can use for create chocolate. Like Depends of the stone you have, how you temper, and the ganache. Like the ganache is like inside of the bonbons or truffles, a lot of people call it here. They use a lot of spices because that helped the chocolate to explode in your mouth. Like I remember the first teacher I have there, he was like, do not ever forget, if you put pepper, black pepper or green pepper or white pepper or red pepper or cayenne or whatever pepper you want in the chocolate is going to taste better. So after 2 or 3 years I started to see all these. I just started to see in the markets like the dark chocolate with salt or dark chocolate with this, you know, the chili flakes on top or that kind of things. And that is the way you can, you know, you can taste the different kind of chocolate because in Venezuela, it's Cordillera de los Andes. So it's a lot of mountains together. So that is the best chocolate you can find. So Colombia, Venezuela, all the countries are around that are the really great, you know, chocolate. And
are you going to be doing a lot of chocolate at Arepa Bar?
Well, the thing is here it's really hard to find Venezuelan chocolate, and I don't want. I mean, I'm going to try to have like a pop-ups and stuff, like to do like specific things. But yes, I have 2 dishes. I have one of the biggest is Marquesa de Chocolate. It's a dessert I'm going to have at the restaurant. It's completely dark chocolate.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, has spices and have a lot of things to, you know, pop up that kind of things in your tongue. And also, I have a tweak in one of the recipes for asado negro. Asado negro, it's a big piece of meat we braise in Venezuela, and we call asado negro. Negro means black. So the sauce of this meat is black because we use papelón. Papelón is a kind of raw sugar. Here, a lot of Mexicans call it piloncillo. That is a name a lot of people know here. But my recipe has chocolate. So that is like a little bit of tweak of the traditional recipe. But yes.
I'm now really excited to try that. That sounds phenomenal.
Yeah.
That sounds phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. So okay, so let me make sure that I have this right. Okay.
Yes.
So it's braised what now?
It's braised. It's beef.
Beef, okay.
It's beef. You braise it and then you cook all the ingredients and with this beef, and all the ingredients need to be yellow or green. If you put whatever it's red, the sauce is going to change completely. So just a point over there, guys, if you want to cook asado negro in your house, don't use anything red in the sauce because the sauce is going to need to be black.
Okay, so it'll change color is what you're saying? Okay. All right.
So that is one of the most important things when you do that kind of dish.
So there's chocolate in the sauce. Let's get a little bit more into this sauce. I'm interested to hear all about it because as you know, I tend to I don't know, gravitate towards the complexities of different sauces.
Yeah.
And this sounds...
You love make sauces. I remember that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I know.
You could consider me a saucier of sorts. But okay, so when learning about new cooking, I think it's one of the best things to like focus on.
Yes.
Is sauce, right? So like if you're making the transition from Italian cooking to French cooking, you're gonna cook the meat fairly similar. Yes. I mean, the French go a little nuts with some of that, but what my point is, the big differences you're going to see are in the sauces.
Yeah.
So go into the sauce. Tell me about the sauce.
So, believe it or not, in Venezuela cuisine, all the preparations take really long time.
Yeah.
Of course, a lot of these techniques come from, you know, the tribes we still have in Amazonas. Our traditions really respect the way they really cook. We still cooking with plantain leaf. We still cooking under the dirt, and we still trying to do the stuff and respecting all these kind of things. So all these kind of cuts we have in Venezuela, especially for beef, are like a really big cuts.
Yeah.
We don't have like here, like a New York, that kind of pieces. You can like recut to portion it. In Venezuela, it's different. Venezuela, when you are going to make like a barbecue, or we call it parrilla, asados, you just have like a 5, 6, 7 pound piece of meat, and you cook it whole, and then you slice it and you share.
Yeah.
We don't have like one New York for you, one. No, it's
right. It's communal.
Yeah, always.
Very communal.
So
I'm gonna take you away from that, and I'm gonna rip you back to the sauce.
I'm coming. So all these kind of cuts.
Yeah.
Fish, beef, chicken. We always marinate these for 24 or 72 hours. In everything, it's going to be in the sauce.
Okay.
So, example, if you're going to make, let's say, pork, okay? We cook the entire leg of the pork. So this leg is going to be marinade for 72 hours with all the veggies and everything you're going to use for the sauce.
I see.
So, of course, the flavor of the sauce is completely different because has all this liquid is coming from the piece of meat.
Right.
Okay. So you cook all these. Example, this leg can cook like for 4 or 5 hours, in the oven, and after that you are going to take this piece of meat out of the marinade, and you're going to reduce that sauce, and then you're going to use your French techniques. You are going to pass it. You're going to make a demi of sorts. A demi, something like that. But let's say 70-80% of the sauces in Venezuelan, it's coming from that. It's really no traditional to cook a sauce apart of the piece of meat you're using. Right.
So like you don't do stocks as much. Your stocks are made from what you are using.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, wow,
we
that's
use
really
stocks.
Cool.
We use stocks because we have a lot of soups too.
Yeah.
But example, if we're going to make chupe, it's a traditional Venezuelan soup,
I think you've made chupe for family meal one time. Yeah,
and in the restaurant was one of the biggest sellers. Like the chupe, I made this soup like a lot of time at the Lexington because the people love it. It's a really easy soup to make, but we don't make a stock and then we use it for the soup. We cook the chicken and we cook all the, we use a lot of leeks in Venezuela and green onions.
I love leeks.
So we use all the part of the leeks nobody use. A lot of people throw it away. So
okay, let's hold on there. Okay, let's hold on there. People who are wasteful will throw away the leeks. But I think that's one thing that I definitely have gotten from French cooking.
Yes, exactly.
With Greek cooking as well, but it's a little bit different because they came over in a certain time, et cetera, et cetera. But like the leeks, you use every part of those leeks. Don't let me see you throwing the leeks in the pig bucket.
What? A lot of people do it because they are lazy and they don't want to clean the leeks because leeks it's not easy to clean. But if you cut it, and you open it like a flower, you can wash it no problem. But we use for these stocks. You cook the chicken or the piece of meat you're going to use for your soup or your fish. We use a lot of heads for the fishes. Leeks, stems of whatever you pick, and we cook, we strain all these, and that is our stock, and we use exactly the same chicken we use, and that it's just, we need to use everything.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love it, and I like the concept of creating the stock out of the specific cut of meat that you have going into a dish. I think that it seems like it would be a natural thing to do.
It's completely natural.
But very few people do it,
Yeah. I believe, I know that probably not, I'm 100% sure the cost of your products your recipe is going to be a little bit more expensive because you are not using like anything to put on the sauce to make it like
voluminous.
Yeah, exactly. Or you are using like these kind of things you buy just to add like more flavors and stuff. Like Venezuelan food, we don't use any of that.
Yeah.
It's completely traditional, and we don't use anything to like bring another flavors. Do not come from the same dish.
Okay, so I'm super excited about your restaurant.
Thank you.
I'm a little bit curious about this sauce. I can't wrap my head around it. So you marinate it in the chocolate then? So how does that work?
Okay,
right?
Because
because
dish,
I'm slightly aware of how chocolate works, and that would be
in this dish. This dish is not the traditional dish. It doesn't have chocolate.
Okay.
That is my trick.
Okay. Okay.
Because I love the flavor. This can elevate dish to a little bit more.
Oh, absolutely.
This meat you are going to marinate with all these veggies. Okay, it's onions, garlic, peppers, sweet peppers. We have in Venezuela something we call ají dulce.
Yes.
That doesn't exist here, so what we can use to like give a little bit of that flavor will be the sweet peppers.
Yeah.
So we use peppers, sweet peppers, garlic, onions, leeks, green onions, leeks. It's a lot of things. Like Venezuelan cuisine have a lot of ingredients. So these are the same ingredients we use for our sofritos.
Okay.
It's the same ingredients we make for marinate this.
Let's go on a quick like tangent here.
Okay.
Can you explain a little bit the difference between your sofritos and the regular sofritos?
Okay, so the sofritos, like the famous sofritos in the world, probably are coming from Spain.
Yeah.
Because Spain food from Spain, it's stronger, of course. But in Venezuela, our sofrito doesn't have paprika and doesn't have anything of that kind of additions. It's just veggies.
Yeah.
So we use onions.
Yes.
Garlic.
Yes.
Peppers.
Yes.
Can be red, green. What we love in Venezuelan food, it's everything need to be colorful.
Yeah.
So when you see a sofrito from Venezuela, it's going to be red, yellow, green, orange. Everything is going to be like a feast, like a party in the pot. So it's garlic, green onions, peppers, sweet peppers, leeks, bay leaf. We always use bay leaf. Cumin, it's a big one in our culture too.
Yeah.
And a lot of love.
Yeah.
Because these sofritos need to cook in really low heat for about an hour.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
With attention.
Yes.
It's not like you just put it on and you walk away and it just cooks itself.
No, you need to move it and move it and move it so everything it's going, And some people use stocks for this. For this example, if you're going to use this sofrito for, I don't know, sauteed chicken, some people start to add like a little bit of this. It's not a risotto, but in risotto you need to add, like liquid.
They deglaze it with a stock.
Exactly, deglaze that, and we cook it for an hour. Some people cook it for more, but the idea of this is going to create like a paste, and you cook everything. You can cook everything by hand, or you can use RoboCoop or something. I cut it by hand. I love the small pieces. Everything needs to be like a really small brunoise.
So when I went over to cook with you at your cousin's, that was one of the things that I noticed, and I've noticed this in the past. It's not like it was anything really new, because like when I worked at the Craftsman, I don't remember all the small cuts, but we had a petite dice, and we had Brinois and all kinds of different things, and I was always like, how does she get it so perfect? and Mike's like, I don't know. She's a badass. I don't know what to say. So, but no, when I went and I went to cook with you, I mean, the doughs were phenomenal, and there was some great flavors. But what I did notice
when you try the golfeados, I was like, I made it. And I remember you hugged me. I was like, you made it. I was like, yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I want to say that the sofrito was probably, you hear how I said it? You see how I change, how I fluctuate? Sofrito. Sofrito. Yeah. This is my life.
We change. It's true.
I live within the dialectic, okay? But yeah, no, it's something that I definitely noticed was spectacularly different than the normal sofrito.
Yes, it is.
And that's been something that it really interests me, and I'm like excited to get into it on this show with different cooks and chefs, because that concept of the sofrito, I think Michael Pollan talks about it a little bit, where it's different in different cultures, right? And so like in New Orleans you have the Trinity, right, which is sweet peppers, onions, and celery. I think
yeah, they use a lot of celery and carrots in that
like,
kind of
it's like mirepoix without the carrots, and then add in, you know, the peppers, and then the sofrito is similar to mirepoix in that sense, and you have this like this trinity of vegetables throughout the world, and then it's just made in all these different tiny little ways. It makes it special.
Sofrito can be like a technique when you deglaze veggies and all these kind of things, just to have a base for whatever dish you want to prepare. But example, our sofrito is sweet.
Yeah.
No, because we put sugar. It's the way we cook the veggies.
Yes.
You know, and everything goes like there. But if you go to Spain, sofrito has paprika, or can have like chilies, or the traditional seaweed baturro. Baturro, it's Spanish. It's not paprika. It's a pepper.
Yeah.
Baturro is pepper, so that it's the powder they put in their sofrito. Example, I love paella. In Venezuela, we consume paella like crazy.
Yeah.
Of course. The conquerors were from Spain, so we have a lot of influence from Spain too. But when you cook paella, the sofrito needs to be completely different.
Yeah.
So of course we use the same technique and maybe the same veggies, but at the end you need to add these and other flavors to make it from Spain. If not, the paella is not going to taste the same, you know. So it's just try to, you know, use the correct things when you speak about different kind of cuisines. Because if you are from Greek and I'm going to make I don't know, a moussaka.
Yeah.
Of course, if I use pork, it's not going to be the same if I'm not use lamb.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So maybe it's delicious, but for you it's not moussaka.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's interesting that you bring that up specifically, because it's definitely like the main difference between like getting great Greek food and good Greek food, right? And it's and that's one thing that I want to showcase in this show, because this show is about you and about your place. So like when you go to It's Greek to Me now, right? They have the gyros with the belly. Right?
Yeah.
They're doing it with the belly, kind of, it's similar to pastor. And before it was, you know, processed lamb and beef mixture, and it's just like the difference is so shocking. Right?
It's complete.
It goes into moussaka too. Like when I make moussaka or pasticcio, which I prefer pasticcio because
pasticcio in Venezuela is traditional too. We make it completely different. Lasagna, pasticcio, moussaka. Yeah.
So the thing is the difference between making it with like ground beef, which is what people usually do here, because they don't know where to get ground lamb, right? Unless they're like really hardcore and they're killing the lambs themselves, and then even then it's still hard to get. But it's so night and day when I eat it. I mean, and if we want to get into the science of it, right? My mom's gonna be laughing when she sees this, because I go off into this tangent so often. But there's more. Okay, there's more branch chain fatty amino acids, and there's different branch chain fatty amino acids that are in lamb, and that's what makes it taste differently.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that you can do to make beef taste like that.
Nope.
There's no way that you can make it happen. It doesn't matter if you massage the cow, if you pay $1 million for the Kobe beef.
It's not going to taste the same, period. And it's not moussaka. That's it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't understand sometimes when the people want to like recreate dishes like in another part of the world, just to remain home, you know?
Yeah.
Because that is what we crave. Like, I'm craving so much food and stuff from my country because I'm not there and I cannot be there.
Yeah.
So it's just like, okay, I'm going to make, I don't know, arepas with cheese. I was like, okay, cheese. Where I am going to find the cheese from Venezuela here?
Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
Zero. No place. It's impossible. Don't worry, guys. I'm trying to make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just like you are craving for these kind of things. And I tried to make cheese a couple times. I know how to make cheese, but here it's illegal to buy raw milk.
Yeah.
You know, so I cannot produce and make a cheese if I don't have a special permit and a company just, you know, making that kind of things. So I made cheese in my house and I bought so many. I spent so much money trying to buy like bacteria and stuff to bring back the, you know, the milk we buy in the supermarket to like raw milk to produce the cheese.
Yeah.
And I spent like $200 in milk.
Yeah.
And I have less than a pound of cheese.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
But when I ate the cheese, I started to cry.
Yeah.
I was so happy. Yeah, I spent $200 milk. I don't care. I have my cheese, you know?
Yeah.
But if you want an arepa or you want a cachapa is a super traditional thing too. It's a kind of corn pancake we make in Venezuela, but the cheese we put on top of that is this thick.
Yeah.
And it's completely fresh with the whey. You know, we conserve our cheeses in whey.
Yeah.
It's completely fresh. If you don't eat this cheese in 7-8 days, you need to throw it away.
Yeah.
That fresh.
Yeah.
Is the cheese. So, yeah, you can make a cachapa, but I don't want to put mozzarella on that.
Yeah.
I don't want to put cheese curds because it's not bring you that from where you're craving.
Maybe I can give you the numbers of some of the people that I've met through the show because I'm starting to meet people who make cheeses, right? Like when I went out to do that farm thing at Iron Shoe Farms, I had a camembert that was made blocks away.
Okay.
And I was like, wait. It was made here. It was made in the state.
Camembert?
Yeah, and it was like it was wild. That was like honestly, and it was made at a dairy somewhere in the county. Yeah. So there are places, and we'll find places, and I think that it's important.
I mean, it will be great if we can find a place they can make Venezuelan cheese. The thing is, I don't know if the law here allowed to do that. Because the cheese, when I started, you know, with all the cheese places, my first idea was like, I want to create a cheese factory. That was like, you know, because I want to have Venezuelan cheese here, and because for me, I really, really miss that, like so much.
Yeah.
And here the law said you cannot have any cheese if it's not cured for 60 days. So I was like, needs to be a way, you know. So for the restaurant, I'm in conversations right now with 2 companies. So I think I'm going to have Venezuelan cheese at the restaurant and nata and all that kind of things we use in Venezuela because I'm trying to partnership with these 2 of these companies to bring everything to Minnesota.
Good.
So
wow.
Let's pray.
Yeah.
Let's pray and see if that can happen.
I think there's a lot of good things that are going to come out of you having this restaurant. I think people are going to really see what Venezuelan cooking can be, but also what cooking can be in general.
Yes.
Let's take a break and I'm going to get into that theme because it's something that is very important to this show.
Okay, perfect.
And part of the reason that I get excited about the not just restaurants like yours, but people like you, right? I've kind of surrounded myself with a specific type of chef, right? We're not all about making this incredibly technique-driven, super intense, like 3,000 step, you know, way to make food. We're focused on getting the best ingredients that are time-tested.
Yes.
Right? Because, like, that's the thing with tradition that people don't understand is my people have been doing this
for years.
Yeah, you
want to come and change it?
Yeah,
no.
10 times the length of this country.
Yeah.
The Greeks have been tweaking their avgolemino just ever so slightly, or making yogurt. I mean, making yogurt is one of the oldest traditions in the world.
It's true.
And so to go to these cultures and to do it the way that they do it and with the ingredients that they do, it's kind of like tapping into this magic power, right? Like, it's just unbelievably different. And I think that we're starting to see that in certain restaurants in Minnesota, right? But it's just not. I don't know. There's always this focus on the profit margin first, and then focus on that. If and I, it's not like people are greedy. It's just they don't understand. I think that's another thing about you is that you have this business mind mentality that all of those things are already covered, so you can go off and learn and partner with these people and get the right kind of cheese.
Yeah, the thing is, and this is something maybe some people it's not going to like what I'm going to say, but
well, fuck you.
I'm 100% honest, so if I want to say something, apologize, but I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
A lot of people think be a chef is just cook incredible and have a lot of techniques and be a leader and respect, and whatever chef it's going to gain the respect they want. No, everybody have the same personality or the same knowledge, but when you are executive chef or you own a restaurant, one of the most important thing is you need to know about cost. You need to know about business. You need to know how to put the prices in your food. You need to know when you cook food, the cost of food, manufactured food, it's completely different than in a cost in when you make cars or when you make computers. Because always when you cook food, you have a waste.
Yeah.
Not just when example, a carrot. If you peel the carrot with a peeler or with a knife, you have different cost.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
When you cut a piece of meat, steak, example, I don't know, ribeyes. When you cut the ribeye, you can buy 20 pounds of ribeye. When you cut it, each ribeye is going to have 12 ounces. But when you cook that ribeye, it's not 12 ounces anymore.
Yeah.
It's 10. It's 9 because you have waste when you cut it, when you cook it. So you cannot sell that ribeye as an 8-ounce ribeye. You need to sell it at 12 ounces because that is what you cut.
Yeah.
But also that 12 ounces before you cut it was 15 ounces.
Yeah.
Because you have, when you cut it, you have a waste too of the fat or whatever, So you cannot sell that of 8 ounces. You need to put in that price everything you are wasting in the process to sell that beef.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about that is if you do that properly, then it's not like that makes everything more expensive.
No, but
it makes everything proper.
Exactly. And also, a lot of restaurants do this kind of cost and this kind of pricing when the restaurant is already open.
Yeah.
This is the financials is something like your cost, just your pricing, I don't know, maybe you use, Excel. Like I love Excel. I can use Excel. But you can use Excel. You can use whatever program is in the market. But you need to be sure you are doing all these before you open the restaurant. Because believe me, it's really, really hard to start to change all these when you already has like the bad kind of things when you try,
When you have, what you're trying to say, when you have inefficient systems in place, it takes time to create new. Yeah,
and the thing is, the people already are doing it this way. So if you present the right way, they are not going to be agree with that.
Yeah.
Because that is not the way. No, we're doing like this. So your pricing, your cost, it's not right.
Right.
No, the thing is you never do it before. You never did it before. So, of course, it's going to be more complicated. When you have a specific way to calculate costs and pricing and you work with budgets and you make sure your staff is doing it, it's so easy to control the profit.
Yeah.
Yep. Its thing is you need to be aware. No, everybody knows how to do this.
Yeah.
And I can say I'm talking with a lot of chefs in this industry, and I can say just 20 or 15% of them knows about pricing and cost.
Right.
And if you're going to manage a kitchen, or if you are doing opening your restaurant and you don't know anything about business, it's going to be a little bit more complicated.
Yep.
Or find a a partner or something have the stuff.
The money guy.
Yeah. And you don't, if you don't know how to do that, try to find somebody can take care of that for you.
Right. Another big thing on the subject of pricing and waste and money, I think that one thing that people don't do enough, that again goes back to, I think when you cook more traditionally, is the reduction of that waste.
Yes,
and,
for sure.
And then the training of your staff on how to reduce that waste, right? Like when I was a young kid, we had a guy, not a guy, we had one of my old chefs, Chad Grant, on the show. And this is one of those experiences where he taught me, kind of through, brazen, kind of mean, a little bit mean, but he taught me on again how to properly clean a leek so that you can use the entire leek.
Yep.
And the same with carrots, right? Like, because my whole thing when I was kind of coming up was I wanted to use my knife for everything, and I made the mistake of peeling the carrots, and I saw the tirade
or a potato.
happen. Yeah,
if you're turning the potato, it's another thing, but peelers are for something, so use it.
And that is just so important, and it's gotten to a point with me where I've kind of like I've started to learn more about like newer techniques. They're kind of like reimaginings of old techniques, but like I read cover to cover, I read Zeppi's Guide to Fermentation, right? Not his Noma book. I read the book on fermentation. Yep. I built the fermentation chamber, and so all of the mushrooms that we had at Public when Aaron and I were throwing down there, all of our mushrooms we would get in bulk, and then we'd cut the roots, right? And it's mycelium. I know it's a different word. Okay, I'm just trying to explain it. So we'd cut the roots, we'd vacuum seal the roots, and then I'd throw a little bit of sugar and a little bit of salt in there to kind of like control the balance of the lactobacillus that was already on its skin.
Yeah, of course.
And eventually you fermented these mushrooms, and even though there's how mushroom roots are, it's like you're not going to be able to clean that. No. It doesn't matter how long you have. To clean that, you would have to completely eradicate it. So most people just throw it out. They're like, there's no way that I can do that, right?
I don't throw it away.
So I ferment him, and we've talked about this before.
Yes.
But I haven't talked about it on the show, and I'm kind of happy about what I did. So you throw them in the fermentation chamber. You let them ferment for a week, sometimes two, depending on the size and the volume and how much how high you want the hydronium content to be, and you get gallons of lacto fermented mushroom juice. Then you can use that as your stock or for your vinegars and then all of a sudden you've made something that was wasteful into something that's making you money. And there's all these different little techniques in the cooking world that and some of the chefs that I know, and if you implement them and then teach them to your staff, you can save so much money, and then you can buy the right cheese, you can buy the lamb, you can make the food right, and people can truly have a traditional experience, even in the winterland of Minnesota.
Winterland, yeah, thank you. Yes. And that is another thing, like in Venezuela for the last 20 years, we've been in dictatorship, So you need to find a way to find food for your family.
Yeah.
So we don't waste water, we don't throw away anything. So you learn, since you are a child, to cook with everything.
Yeah.
Like I remember my grandma telling me, like, you're going to peel the potatoes, but please don't throw away the skin.
Peels. Yeah.
I was like, why? Because we can make something with the skin.
Yeah.
I was like, we don't have enough money, and the country is not in the position to, be this kind of family has everything. So we're going to cut the potato in half. Today we're going to eat this half a potato, tomorrow the other half, and we see what we can make with the peel.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I remember the first week I was here in United States and I started to work at Craftsman. I saw one of the prep cooks girl, we need shrimp for something. And she just opened the water and put the shrimp in the bottom of that. Just try to because they were frozen.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, what you're doing?
Yeah.
Why are you losing, the water? The water is,
Yeah.
For me, it was really hard when I came here because in Venezuela, you have water 1 or 2 times a week. And sometimes you don't have any water for 1 week. So I was like, can you use the proper way to defrost something?
Yeah.
Just
pull it.
Pull it the night before and put it in the cooler. No, we do it here. That is not the way. You're wasting so much water, and that is not the correct way to defrost something. You can lose the shrimp too. So it's just try to teach the people to do the right things, because it's not just to do not waste water or money. It's just to have a better product.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If you left a fish outside for 3 hours or 4 hours, do you think it's going to be good to serve to your people? Are you going to eat that? You need to be conscious, ingredients are the most important thing in your whatever dish you want to prep or you want to cook. But if you don't take care of those ingredients, you are not going to have a good dish at all.
I've used it for people that I'm trying to train on the line, pretend you're painting a picture, right? And I want you to paint a picture of the sky, right? And you accidentally, you use your brush that you just painted with brown in the blue ink. You're not going to be able to paint a sky.
Nope.
It's not going to look like a sky. It's not going to be even remotely like a sky. It's going to look like one big brown splotch. And that's what you're doing with the food. And that's why people, even people who are in these fairly large kitchens and they're spending lots of money they really run into this problem of the food is subpar. And that's why it is. It's because, you ran water down your vacuum sealed salmon to unfreeze it, and that's why. And there's nothing that you can do to undo that, right? It doesn't matter if the béarnaise that you put on it is perfect. You know what I mean? It doesn't. You can't cover it up. Is what I'm trying to say. It's
you cannot cover that. It's a mistake, and you need to redo it because first you are putting in danger people. Yeah, some people can get sick. And also you are putting the name of the place you're working or your own place in risk because you are not being honest about your ingredients. Yeah. And that is something I always try to explain people. If you come to this restaurant, you're going to pay $50 for one dish. You want that dish to be perfect, right? So if you work in the industry, I think you need to be aware, that is the most important thing, because if you go to another restaurant, you want that too. So why you are not able to do it? Yeah, I think when you're working. I
think, and this is something that we've come to a head on this a couple of times, where you attribute it to laziness or a lack of responsibility. I attribute it to the system, right, that the people are brought up in, right? So at the Lexington, for instance, we're eventually able to change a lot of the things that were going on at the Lexington systems-wise, right? Up until that point, we had the conversation where it's not that I am lazy and I don't want to take the time to do this, right? I have 35 other things to do.
Are you talking about the parsley?
See? She tried to act all nice at the beginning, huh? It finally comes out. What are we at? We're at an hour? Yeah. Okay, it's coming out. No. I don't even think this conversation was about the parsley, because I knew
that is another conversation.
It was similar, but the parsley is a conversation. No, I think it might have had something to do with the parsley, because it's basically it's I want to take the time. I mean, you know me. Yeah. I love food and I love people, and I've had legit aneurysms seeing people fuck with my food at the pass. Right? You've seen me. You've seen me go, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah. And then everybody's like, oh God, now we gotta, hold Christos back, because I care about the food, right?
I know.
I care about the food. But when you're, when you're making, when you have a 3-hour process to make mashed potatoes, which is the way that you need to do it, and it was the best mashed potatoes that you can get, right? I don't know if they're technically if it's like a puree or what. I don't know the actual like French term for it, but it's basically mashed potatoes. But we'd put it through a tammy. Anyways, I'm getting off subject. There was too much to do because we were understaffed.
Yes.
Right. And then, so I want to be able to help you, and I want to be able to help, Nick, and I want to be able to help James on the other side, and we're all, trying to get through it together. So it's not laziness. There's something wrong with the system usually. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I've met some people out there who are like, yeah, I think the scallops are good. And I'm like, get the fuck out, right? Get your shit and get the fuck out.
You know how many times I send back people and food? Well, you know me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the last line of defense, man. You are not going to pass me. Doesn't matter what you did in 3 hours. If it's not right from the beginning, it's not going to pass me.
No, and that's a good way to be. I'm not saying that that's a bad way to be. What I'm saying is, the system is complicated, and
also when you have understaff, when you are understaffed, and we were understaffed for a really, really long time, it's because the Lexington always was like a really high quality food, and really high standards, not just because of Jack, because of me, and Mike and everybody who worked there. Everybody worked there.
There was a lot of real passion for the food.
Yes, of course. Yeah. But when you are understaffed and everything takes longer because it's fine dining, I mean, every detail counts. Not just because it's fine dining, it's because you can be in a street selling food, but if your standard is really high and you let your staff know, these are my standards. If you are not going to be able to do this, get out of here, because you are not going to work for me anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, fine dining have so many steps. So yeah, make a mashed potatoes and a great béarnaise or stuff just in 3 hours. Sometimes when the service, you receive the first ticket, you said, my God, I'm already exhausted. I'm just have 3 hours here and I'm not ready. Like, yeah, that happened a lot. But
yeah, and I'm just fighting. I'm not even fighting with you. Okay, don't think that I'm fighting with you. I just want to continue to not completely put the onerous. And this is another thing that goes back to you and your restaurant, is that when people set the restaurant up, all of those things should have been thought through, right? The prep time here needs to be thought through and done a certain way. And if we're going to go past that, we need to realize that there's other things that you're going to have to hire people more, or it's either you're going to have to hire more people, or you're going to have to do it wrong. You're going to have to cut the corner.
I remember when they promoted me to a chef, the first thing I did was check the prep crew list. Why they need to prep, why they are doing sauces when the people can make the sauces upstairs.
Yeah.
I mean, make a ranch or make, the sauce for the burger or whatever. Whatever can do that. Why the prep kitchen is doing that? So I start to move stuff from the line to the prep team. And that gives us more time to be ready.
Yeah. To do our prep properly.
Yeah, exactly. Peel 25, 30 pound of asparagus. You cannot do that on the line.
Yeah.
You know how long that is going to take? Just why you are doing it on the line. So I put it in the prep kitchen. They were so mad with me. Peel the potatoes too. I remember, I don't know, when you were there, you peeled your potatoes?
I would peel my potatoes.
Yep, so and that
changed. At the time, the potatoes and the asparagus were being prepped by
the line cook.
the grill cook.
Yeah.
So I would get there, and my first 4 hours there, I would be peeling asparagus, peeling potatoes, and getting firewood. And then all of a sudden, I
Yeah, I started to ask the dishwasher to bring the wood. I mean, I started to change a couple things to make my staff more efficient, because that is what you want to make.
Right,
and try to put the right things in for the right people.
Yeah, because I mean, here's the thing, I love to prep, and there's always some kind of meditative, cathartic thing that I can get out of all the prep. So it was never like, no, I don't really want to do that. It was like, no, I have, I have 3 burrs and and the béarnaise wasn't over at the other line, so I have 4 sauces, which I love, and I'm just like, these are my little babies. And then you're like, oh yeah, and can you peel enough asparagus for the next 7 days? Except it's all going to be used tonight.
I remember to be working for 18 hours a day. 6 or 7 days a week, yes, for the last year straight.
Yeah.
I mean, I work a lot out there. But the biggest reason was we were understaffed. And also, when you work in a place like the Lexington, you need people with skill.
Yep.
You cannot hire everybody, because you don't have time to teach people how to cut an onion.
Yeah.
But
even, I mean, and that's just, that's basic, right? But even the people who have some skill, it's like, no, I need you to already know how to fold a tortellini properly, because I don't have time to teach you.
I made the pasta for almost 2 years.
I know, that's my point.
And I teach how many people I teach.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that you had to do that, because you can't just teach people that. You know what I mean? That's all right. We'll go with the other cameras. We're gonna wrap it up. Okay?
Yes, you're talking too much.
You're gonna be on here again?
Yeah, of course.
All right, sweet. So let's finish up talking about the pasta.
Yep.
It's not something that you just learn. Me and Seth just had a 50-minute. Not the gnocchis. We had a whole episode about pasta. I know you haven't been watching the show. This is how I know you haven't been watching the show. It's pretty sweet. No, it takes time to actually gain the skill. And if you don't come in and you don't know the skill, then I'm gonna have to do it. And now I'm doing 90 million things and nothing is working out. Yeah. And so that kind of dedication is why I'm excited for the restaurant that you're about to bring, because you're bringing people from the Lexington, and you're bringing tradition, you're bringing skill, you're bringing elevation, and you're bringing absolute love to your food.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I'm really excited too. I hope we're going to open this year, and I'm really, really excited to come back to my roots, and show the people what Venezuelan food really is. And I'm really excited because it's my new adventure, and I really want everybody to go and enjoy a great moment with my food, my country, and the great staff I'm going to have.
Well, there you have it, Arepa Bar with Christina.
Yeah.
This is Minnesota Well Done. I'm Christos. I'll see you later.
Bye-bye.